You know, sometimes things happen in life. One day you'll be using a phone happily and the very next day you just have it break and somehow you end up with the latest and greatest smartphones. So with that luck, I present to you my review of the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and I hope to bring you my most detailed review ever. Take a look at the video length. Asking for you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a small favor that you're returning for my first detailed review. So please do so if you haven't already, because I kind of like to make review like this on other phones too. Now, for a phone that calls itself Ultra, and that's to be priced at 1928 SGD for the base model or 1199 USD, it best be perfect. So let's talk about it. Now, one fundamental of being a perfect phone is having the craziest and best specs in a phone. In case of the Ultra, it comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, and not just any Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, a special one for Samsung phones with a longer name. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy. What's the difference? To see the difference, we gotta talk about the normal 8 Gen 3. The normal 8 Gen 3 is clocked at 3.3 GHz on the Cortex X4 core. Now, I don't see that it's meaningful to run numbers since numbers are not representative of real-world usage. My S21 is still pretty quick, for example. But the S24 levels of quick on the S21, fat hopes. Okay, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage with no room of expansion, and that's the base model. From what I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a really horrendous base variant of the Ultra with like 8 gigs of RAM.
12+256，国外网友都羡慕哭了。但不知道三星是故意的还是不小心，512G匹配的仍然是8G 内存，小屏重度用户哭晕在厕所。那很难判定2024年的8+512和4年前的12+128G 谁更抽象。哎，好像都是一个人的杰作啊。
It is my pleasure.
啊，对了。
On an Ultra phone, 8 gigs of RAM. But that's on select countries, thank God Singapore is not one of them. Next, to see its power, it needs a screen, 6.8-inch 1440p 120Hz and a max brightness of 2600 nits. Oh, and the screen is much more unreflective, but if you don't put on a screen protector, which I did because I have butterfingers. Now, compare the screen to the S23 Ultra and you realize the Ultra finally has symmetrical bezels. Now that it has got a symmetrical display, look at how content looks on the screen. I even got a friend calling it a picture frame because it really looked like one. Well, a smart picture frame, that is. It definitely took me off guard as well when I first set up the phone. But as a result, you also trade in a curved display for a flat, which makes the phone surface far more easier to write. I like the curve, but I personally prefer a flat display on a screen that supports the S Pen. But what do you think? Now, the screen also has a much improved PWM dimming, but 没比较没伤害，硬要顶，它输惨。Chinese brands are actually ahead of Samsung when it comes to this, and I won't notice this at all. But for my mother, she is able to tell me that the screen on the Ultra is way more comfortable to look at compared to the S21's screen. Now, the screen does get plenty bright and is able to get very dim. Now, say if you are in a theater and you need to check your phone on the fly, but you don't want to be the brightest person in the room, which is not very bright to be honest with you, ruining people's experience, well, you don't have to do it anymore. Like, you don't ruin people's experience for just staring at your phone screen for like 5 seconds, checking for notifications while you're watching in the cinema. Okay, the first issue though, plenty has talked about the saturation of the phone display. It looks washed out. But it has then been fixed in a software update days after I got the phone. And because I have used the phone in that mode for days, I actually got used to it, and as a matter of fact, I think it looks better to my eyes. And now all my Samsungs are set to natural now. Now next, the design. The Ultra has a frosted AG back and a front covered by a new unreflective Gorilla Glass arm. Now normally you see aluminium on all modern Samsung phones, but The S24 Ultra this time around is different. It gets a grade 2 titanium. Apple on the other hand gets grade 5. Before the fanboys defend either party, the one on the Samsung is more pure than Apple's titanium, but that's at the cost of a weaker material. And grade 2 is all titanium, compared to grade 5, which is a mix of titanium, a mix of aluminum, and a mix of vanadium. Is that what it's called? But to reiterate, alloys are more durable than pure stuff, so ask me how I know. Now, I'm just going to go and thank my secondary school chemistry teacher. Alright, so copying is an accusation from the ships as well, but here's the truth. Research and prototyping is not an overnight thing. It's like a careful planning over weeks or months even. And the 15 Pro and Pro Max does have brushed titanium, while on the Ultra, it's matte. In this regard, the iPhones are actually better at showing off the color of titanium and the beauty of titanium. Speaking of that, of the 7 total colors you get to choose for your S24 Ultra, only 3 features the titanium frame color titanium. Titanium grey, which is the halo color, dying tangerine, titanium orange, and my personal favorite, titanium violet. I'm normally a very big fan of lighter colors, but the way the violet contrasts with the natural hue of the titanium looks awfully sexy. It's like the S21's halo color phantom violet, which I obviously went for white because the white looked better in my eyes. And then I removed the color, and now it's clear with 4 lines on the screen. Now the rest of the colors are titanium black, titanium yellow with a goldish frame, dying lime and dying blueberry. Titanium green and titanium blue. So, which one's your favorite? No worries, I'm not a loan shark. I'm not asking for a favorite color so that I can be a loan shark. Now, I've been wrong for like months, and it's common to think that titanium is a light material, which it is, don't get me wrong. It's definitely far lighter than stainless steel, which is why there's a weight loss in 15 Pro compared to its previous generation, the 14 Pro. But here's the thing. Titanium is not lighter than aluminum, which is what the S23 Ultra uses. It is in fact heavier. The cool part is, the S24 Ultra is still somehow lighter than the S23 Ultra at 232 grams compared to 234 grams. It's not much lighter anyway, it's still a pretty heavy phone. But with the Samsung's official silicone case that the backing looks like it's made of recycled materials, which I will show, it's much more unwieldy. The case itself, according to Samsung, is 44 grams, and if you add in 32 grams, you add in the 232 grams and 44 grams together, it's a combination of 276 grams, and that's without the screen protector as well. 276 grams. Okay, assuming that you can handle it. When it drops on your face, I'm assuming you need a plastic surgery for your face. If you drop it screen down on your face, that is. But without a case and on the angle of the phone, you might as well assume that you're impaled. Take a look at the angles. They are very sharp, and if you ever squeeze the phone like that without a case, digging into your palm is super easy. You use a case not to protect the phone, because the phone is robust. You use the case to protect your body from the jabs it's gonna give you. Build quality after it being built like a weapon. Again, all I can say is this phone is extremely well built. For Samsung's Halo Sled phone of 2024, it best be. One of the major changes which I quite like the design of is the speaker grille. No longer a grille, it's a slit, like the old Galaxy S9 days. It definitely looked far more simpler and more elegant in my eyes, but maybe that slit is because titanium is a harder material to work on, and the plus and the base, despite the aluminum, has to follow on because it's how the trend of 2024 Samsung phones designs are. I don't know, 我不知道, just my guess. Buttons are stiff and tactile as well. And if you were to eject the button of the S Pen, it feels really satisfying too. Now another design thing that I'm really happy with is the return of colored S Pens. Since the S22 Ultra, Samsung has only made the top of the S Pen color match to the frame, and the rest of the pen remains as black. However, whatever color you choose will determine the color of the S Pen as well. So right now, the titanium frame phones come with a titanium full color S Pen, but the rest of the colors remains as a black body S Pen with the respective frame tip click. Now the S Pen kind of reverted back to the Note 5 design when it comes to the ejection button, which I really enjoy the look of. Also, I don't know if you all know this already, the microphone has been moved from the bottom of the phone to the top of the phone. The part that I want to comment is the phone no longer looks like it's shocked when you're looking at its A55. By the way, it's still IP68 water resistant, water and dust resistant rated. Now next design is the antenna, cause I actually think my S21 has better reception over the Ultra, but it's just a fluke maybe. Anyhow, it still does have great reception, so nothing to complain about. Reception, call quality has been great. It's an Ultra phone, it must have its basics set straight. Now actually, I think all phones nowadays should come with great call quality and reception. Otherwise, do you even call that a phone? Speaking of the speaker sounding clear, it is very cleverly hidden in a not very obvious slit on top of the phone. Now, the camera deco on the Phantom Violet is polished champagne gold, which is actually the pure reason why I really think the titanium violet is the best color for the S24 Ultra and not titanium grey. It contrasts and pops really well against the dark violet colored matte glass with its gloss. And if you actually tilt it in some angles, it kind of looked black. Which, speaking of which, stand to the laser autofocus module and you'll see the Samsung designed them into squircles, two squircles, resembling the shapes of apps found in your home and app screen. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Amidst all this, there are really just two issues I really want to point out for now, and that's the S Pen. Sure, I won't use it all the time, but all the times I actually need to use it or want to use it, which we'll get to its features later. It's a very comprehensive video by the way. It's over at the left hand side of the phone, which I find is better to be located on the right, like my Galaxy Note 9. I can access it quicker compared to the S24 Ultra 2. But since the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra, Samsung has moved it and stuck it to the left. I guess we just have to deal with it. Like, I'm very positive that Samsung did that because of the cameras, which we'll get to later, since the cameras are getting very big. It's no wonder Samsung moved the pen to the left. Okay, next issue, the placement of the bottom firing speaker. Left-handed or not, I hope Samsung realized that blocking the bottom speaker is much easier to do when placing it on the left rather than on the right. Since they have been using this, they have been doing this since the Note 20 series as well. Sian. Okay, design aside, I would like to talk about the phone's flagship feature, AI. Honestly, I really don't see the hype behind it. But after having the phone in hand, do I suddenly care now? No. To be fair, circle to search is a good feature. I see something I like on my screen, I really like it, I don't know what that is, it's a lifesaver! But next, the keyboard does have AI features on it. It is fun to use if you run out of Instagram caption ideas. At present, this section is actually composed and revised by the AI. Bracket, right now, this part is actually written and corrected by the AI. And I'm able to get my corrections for my script correct, although I think it sounded wrong. That it is also AI scripted. And if you are learning Chinese, you can kind of get it to correct pinyin as well. This is an example. I tried it with other pinyin, but seems that it works like barely. It's poor. Don't bother it. editing photos and having generative AI is a feature touted by plenty. Now, I can kind of see myself using it since it can be a cool feature, but yeah, I'll just present to you all like the 2 samples I have set. Keep in mind that every single AI modified pictures are indicated with the Galaxy AI star. If you tilt the photo, it will also extend the photo by generating what it thinks logically to fill out the blanks, so it can look nonsensical or it can look make sense. Your chances. Galaxy AI is also available in Samsung Internet. With it around, you can summarize things in a web page so that you can just be lazy. And I seem to have spelled the can as CA, not CAN. Alright, let's move on to the cameras of the phone. Skip this part if you're like me who don't really care much about cameras, but I promise details, so here you go. Okay, so I'm an idiot when it comes to getting nerdy with cameras, but I try my best, I guess. Okay, starters. It's a 12 megapixel ultra wide on the top, 200 megapixel in the middle as a main camera, 50 megapixel 5x telephoto zoom, and a 10 megapixel 3x optical zoom lens and a laser autofocus module on that. If you came from last year's S23 Ultra, you won't notice too much, but for one thing, the 10x telephoto has been downgraded to a 5x telephoto. And since I'm the broker's reviewer that you have definitely seen, and please subscribe so I can make more detailed videos like this, I'll judge the camera as is and bring in the next closest thing to my Ultra. Meet my lightsaber, ES21. Okay, so when both phones are in a well-lit environment, if I were to just glance at their output, they take pictures that are quite close to each other in my eyes. But if I were to analyze the outputs, I'd say the colors on the S24 Ultra are more vibrant and I think look better than as compared to the S21. I mean, it's given since I'm comparing the base model S phone from 2021 to the Ultra S phone from 2024. There's also more details on the Ultra, which I mean, it is the combination of better hardware and better software that gave the S24 a massive advantage. Shots on the Ultra also takes shorter time to capture due to its hardware advantage as well, and the outlook in the end will still look better than S21, which the S21 kind of took 1 second longer on average to output the picture. Sometimes night mode doesn't even trigger at all, which the Ultra triggers and of course beat out the S21 by a wide margin. More details are there on the Ultra 2 when faced in a near pitch black environment. Okay, so here's one picture that I think my S21 handled better. Look at how light is handled on the S21. But I'll still give it the benefit of the doubt since the protector of my Ultra indeed covers the front camera and the protector on my S21 doesn't. I would not remove it just for a retest though because the protector is pretty costly. But bear in mind, it may perform better than the S21 without the protector covering the camera and due to its unreflective Gorilla Glass armor. Night shot, portrait and night shot selfie just looked better on the Ultra. Just by looking at my facial head on training wheels, you can see that there's 2 strands on the Ultra and 1 on the S21. That enough is able to show what the Ultra is capable of when dealing with night shots. The S21 Ultra, not the Plus or this 6.2 variant, the Ultra Wide does not support macro mode, so I'll just leave the Ultra to show you what I can do. 5 times is where the S24 Ultra shines. Look at the S21's picture, it's starting to look like a marsh, while the S24 Ultra very obviously outperformed the S21. I've heard that the S24 Ultra looked back at 5x due to the software bugs, but I mean, that's compared to the S23 Ultra. If it's a comparison to the S21, then you start to see a different perspective. 10, 30 and 100x actually look fine. Details are there, but not as detailed as you probably get on the native 10 times zoom, but it's still there. 30 and 100x. I mean, at least you can, but yeah, it still did better than the S21. Still look like a freaking painting. Oh, and here's a real video sample of the phones side by side, 4K 60. I have said my thoughts on the video, but what do you think? Right, so video comparison between the 21 and the 23 Ultra, 4 Ultra. Yeah, they both do a very good job. That's what I think. But the thing about it is that when on 4K 60, you can only activate it. You can only activate 0.5 or your ultra wide on your 21, and just the normal field of view. But on the ultra, you can go all the way up to 10, like 10x, like what I just did just now. And then we have 5x, we have 3x, we have 2x. We even get an ultra wide selection 1, and we even get a lossless 2 times. The moment you start recording on the 21 though, you are locked to just 1 times. Yeah, and that's only on 4K 60. I don't think I should do 4K 30 because I kind of want to test the phone's limits, but yeah. You can see it's much clearer, much more details on the Ultra, but that may be just because of the screen. Yeah. But again, both are set to natural mode. There you go, the grass gain. Yeah, pretty good on the phones. I would say the 21 has a faster focus reaction time compared to the 24 Ultra. Yeah, definitely a smaller sensor does help in that. Yeah, pretty quick, and that's my bag right there. Full control of the camera, Expert RAW will be there for you, and some more customization can be found in the camera assistant under the block. Next, here's the first question for you. Which Galaxy S is the first ever Samsung phone to support the S Pen? Most or some may know this, but the first Galaxy S to support the S Pen is the S21 Ultra. Only issue, the phone didn't come with an inbuilt S Pen slot in the phone. So that means you have to buy an S Pen and a case to house the pen. By the way, Galaxy Note S Pen does work on it. The thing is, it doesn't feature air gestures at all, so it's just like a disabled regular pen size S Pen. Now I believe you can use any other Galaxy Notes or newer S Ultra pens on the S21 Ultra since they are all Wacom tagged. But with the disappearance of the Note 21 and Samsung's half-big S Pen attempt on the S21 Ultra, we all expected the next Note to simply die off, and the S Ultra ultimately being the Note. So for 2022, Samsung released a S22 Ultra with the S Pen inbuilt, just like the Note. Calling it S Ultra is a stretch. Here's the truth though, the Note stayed, the S Ultra died. I mean, look at the S22 Ultra, it literally has the actual silhouette of Notes from years past. Now, back to the Note 24. Fine, I'll just call it the S24 Ultra. Removing the pen from the phone is just as satisfying as when Samsung redesigned the pen on the Note 5. Yeah, that's its only purpose. Or is it? When you're bored, you can just take out the pen and just First of all, this pen kind of smells funny. Second, this pen features remains unchanged from the previous years. But if you need a tutorial on how to use air gestures on your Ultra, S Ultra, it's settings, advanced settings, S Pen, air actions, and learn how. Okay, under all actions, you'll see plenty of options to set up what the phone does if you use the pen. You can set it to however you like as long as it's in the settings. Let me go to the basics, okay? So before you use it, when air gesturing, your pen is to be horizontal. Not like this, not like this. Keep in mind that all pen actions require you to be gesturing with the pen at a steady pace. So you cannot be too fast or too slow. Press and hold the side key of the pen when conducting the gesture, and complete upon completion. Release upon completion. Okay, next. Whatever I teach will be per my settings, so I'll just show you how it's done. First, to go home, press and hold the S Pen side key. With the pen parallel to the ground, move up and down like you're drawing a mountain. And then quickly release the key upon completing the gesture. Next, to go back to a previous page, Press and hold the pen side key, then move the pen to the right, then left in a linear downwards motion. Release the pen key upon completion. To go recents, press and hold the pen side key. Move the pen from a left to a right in a linear downwards motion. And release the key upon completion. To smart select, press and hold the pen side key. Draw a V and release the pen key upon completion. To take a screenshot, press and hold the pen side key and start scribbling linearly downwards. Release the key upon completion. Now if you need to see if the app supports pen gestures, it will be an indicated purple from an air gesture icon. If it's grey, it isn't. If you need to know what actions are associated with an input, use the pen to touch the pen icon, and then tap on the battery status of the pen. You'll get a list of things you can do with the pen while in the app. Voila! The pen is extremely useful. I mean, look at it goofing around with the pen. I often use the pen to return to previous page as well, and navigation through the pen too. Bonus, you can use the pen to unlock the phone. Just go to Settings, Advanced Settings, Settings, S Pen Unlock. It will confirm your password before you enable the function. And don't worry, it will only unlock when your pen is already out of the phone, before it gets locked. And if you want to unlock the phone, just press the S Pen side key and watch it unlock. And yes, if you put in the pen, it will fully lock. And if you attempt to fish out the pen just so that you can unlock the phone again, it will ask for your password again. Speaking of password and security, on this phone there is face unlock and fingerprint. The face unlock works great only in well-lit environments. Try in a dark room and you get a high chance of it failing. Fingerprint wise, it has been great since the S21 series. But again, since it's ultrasonic, protectors do affect its efficiency, so keep that in mind. The one I have on is installed by Samsung themselves, and they charge a premium for that, $58 SGD. Haptic feedback, one of the most underrated parts of a phone in general. Here's a second question for you. What year did Samsung switch haptic motors from a Z-axis to an X-axis? Answer: 2022 with the S22 series. Now to talk about the haptics, we all need to talk about the difference in Z-axis vs X-axis. Eccentric mass rotating motors will just to do weather very good. Let me explain the difference between a Z-axis and an X-axis haptic motor. Assuming that your phone is lying flat on the table, a Z-axis bounces up and down, that results in a stronger feeling motor and a louder feedback. An X-axis bounces left and right, which results in a more precise but a more quiet feedback. I think of it as knocking a table perpendicularly like what I did vs knocking a table on its side like what I did again. A Z-axis usually takes a longer time to actuate, while an X-axis tend to be near instantaneous. Okay, basics out of the way. I will now compare the haptics of the S21 and the S24 Ultra, since the S21 is the last S series phone to use a Z-axis. First of all, in settings, you can find many more haptic feedback on the S24 Ultra compared to the S21.
Now, to add on to the one that I said on the video, the S21 has rebound as its last haptic choice. But on the S22 and newer, because it's an X-axis, it will add on to bounce, tap, dubstep, fireworks, gallop, shuffle, spring, and just for comparison, rebound, and rebound on the 21. And let's do rebound again on the Ultra. And just an added bonus, because an X-axis motor is more variable than a Z-axis motor, you can also get it to sync to your ringtone. And now, hear the ringtone, hear the vibration only.
That may be due to the actuating time needed for X-axis motors compared to the Z-axis, which we discussed earlier. I'm assuming that the start-stop time is the reason why it's like that, since X-axis motors can start and stop way faster than a Z-axis motor. So that may be the reason why the haptics are more precise and they give you more haptic options. Next, the differences between the motors are very apparent when it comes to the bandwidth they can achieve. Now, if you're typing on a keyboard with haptics on, like what I do all the time, typing on the regular letters and numbers are crisp and clear on both motors. But the X-axis motor tend to give you a crispier feedback. Now that's just a crisp feedback versus a crispier feedback. Now if you were to type letters with space, delete, shift, the S21 with a Z-axis will start to show indifference with those keys versus numbers and letters. Now I cannot find the exact Z-axis model on the S21, but on the S24 Ultra I did a little bit of research. I think it's a AAC SLA 0620 motor. I'll dumb things down now since I'm clueless about this. So what this means is it's a 6mm times 20mm size motor, and from what I heard or what I know, a bigger motor is better. Okay, the precision of X-axis motors are there when you clear all apps. And switch things on or off on the S24 Ultra compared to the S21. Setting the phone to vibrate gets you small little clicks compared to a good beefy vibrate. Face unlock not recognizing your face will bring you a different feedback. Failure to read your finger also gets you 5 clicks rather than 2 vibrates. Device care settings. With all that precision comes at a cost. Remember the analogy of table knocking? And now, replay the comparison between the S21's haptic motor vs the S24 Ultra's haptic motor. If you hear the difference, yes, the S21's motor is quite a bit louder than the S24 Ultra's, even though the S24 Ultra's is very precise, actually more precise than the S21's motor. Now, to some, it's a good thing it's silent now. But in my opinion, I'm losing out on the loudness, which can also help inform me of my messages as well. It actually sounds like it's about to break the table. With the same knocking analogy as well, I can't feel the haptics just as well as I could on the S21. So another analogy, okay, if you're more violent. If someone punches you straight in the face, straight in the middle of your face, you really feel pain. But if someone just rubs your face aggressively, there's no pain at all. It's just irritating. But that's the best I can get y'all to relate. It's literally what's happening in my pocket. It goes rubbing with a Z-axis, with the x-axis, and it goes punching with the Z-axis. Now, question is, will you trade in a tactile fit haptic motor based on less tactile but more noticeable motor? Between the two, I'll happily take the more tactile option. And if you're interested in studying specifications of the different types of x-axis motors or difference in motors in general, I have a web page linked down in the description below of one of the manufacturers, AAC. Have a look, which makes motor this one. Now that we're already at the haptics, I'd like to talk about the audio and sound quality of the phone. Those speakers, as usual, and they all sound great. But I do prefer the one on the S21 as it sounds much broader than the Ultras. But the Ultras tend to be more detailed. Again, trade-offs. And I've mentioned the speaker placement, which I particularly dislike, so that's that. But the good thing is it does get plenty louder. Performance-wise, recap, 8 Generation 3 for Galaxy, nothing to worry about. Honestly, when using my S21 after the S24 Ultra, all I notice is a slight difference in performance, it's just slightly slower. Now, does slightly slower means the S21 is slow? No, it's still plenty fast in my eyes. It's a warm processor though, so you won't be frying eggs on your S24 Ultra. My S21, while there are many complaints of it overheating, I personally never encountered it unreasonably on my S21. Don't get me wrong, it does get understandably hot when I edit videos during its run, and getting slightly hot while playing as Fortnite. Compared to my S24 Ultra, S21 getting hot because of edits, weak. S24 Ultra gets warm when editing, and the main reason actually being the 8 Generation 3 just runs cooler than the Exynos 2100. And the secondary reason most likely being the much bigger cooling system than the S21's. The S21's Hawaii version runs on the graphite cooling while the S24 Ultra has a vapor chamber. Now while the phone doesn't feel warm from the front or the back or hot even, I do find the titanium frame being hot, but less hot compared to the S21. This may be due to the fact that titanium doesn't conduct heat as well as aluminum would, and with all this combined gets you a cooler phone. And because it's got 12 gigs of RAM, apps are able to last longer in the background and have more of them restored, compared to my S21 with 8 gigs of RAM. So I'm the type of guy who likes to clean up background apps, right? So in theory, 没有用，这些对我来讲没有用。However, I do like running multiple apps at the same time right now, especially when a screen this big, complete with the S Pen, is a true multitasking king. The extra RAM also helps games to run smoother, and you can also switch on direct power delivery to the motherboard when playing games, so it doesn't actually charge the phone, and you just get direct power to the motherboard. And because it's a big phone in nature, it has a 5000 mAh battery, and that in practice translates to an extraordinary battery phone. I wrote excellent on the script, by the way. I improvised. Combined with the extremely power efficient chipset, I'm able to get out of school at 7 AM, to end my school at 1700 PM, 5 o'clock for you all, and I limit my phone's charge to 80%. That will let me to a low 40s to a low 30s of my battery, or worst come to worst, high 20s. In short, this phone with my usage no longer needs to be tied to a charger or a power bank, and if I need to top up, it does it well with my 25 watts charger and charges more efficiently than my S21 as well. When charging, the S24 Ultra also remains cooler, while the S21 can get warm, which we have explained earlier on. So yeah, it charges fast, but compared to my sister's Oppo Reno 10 Pro, which can take an 80-watt charger for its dual cell 4600 mAh battery and completely finishes charging in a theoretical 28 minutes, the S24 Ultra just feels like a sloth. But good news, it does support PPS and PD standards, meaning most fast chargers are able to work with the S24 Ultra and work well actually. Software, normal stuff. One UI 6.1 Android 14, very familiar Samsung things. Improvements, honestly not a lot. Maybe the animations are improved, but I can't tell the difference between 6.0. One UI 5.1 was kind of meh. I didn't notice the animations as much as the internet would like you to think. Now the thing is, Samsung has for a long time is good luck and their own modules. There's plenty of things you can customize, including back tab, S Pen, and more. From the pointer to the sound to the air command list. And hey, that looks like the good old Galaxy Note days. There's Keys Cafe, where I set up my ice blue keyboard with special click effects too. Fancy. Home out, where I hide app labels too. Touch changer, where I change it to stack. Also, name me a phone where you can change settings however you want. You can literally arrange settings, and you can do it under register. Plus, you can program the power key to do whatever the list allows you to do. So for me, press and hold is set to screenshot. Double click is set to torch. Then how do I power on the phone? Press and hold volume down and power, or via the control panel. There's even sound assistant where showing volume and levels in digits and customizing volumes UI style is doable as well. The sky's the limit. If you have a Samsung phone with good luck, you should explore it. Oh, and did I miss out on Samsung promising 7 years of updates? I know this Ultra phone would handle it super easily. Does the Galaxy S24 live up to its Ultra name? Let's go back to the dictionary and see what Ultra really means. Ultra, an extremist. Extreme high-end display, extreme battery, extreme feature, extreme cameras, extreme experience. The short answer to this is a definite yes. What you need is already on the Ultra, and a couple of extras to further affirm the Ultra's title. To personify the phone, it feels like a good old friend who knows what you want and need, and have everything done way before you ask them. Reliable cameras? Check and done. Reliable battery? Check and done. Great screen? Check and done. You get the idea. If I were to compare this phone to my previous S21, upgrades like the longer battery life, the S Pen, which I do take out and use because it's genuinely a cool feature gimmick to some, a much efficient charging speed, a cooler phone, far superior cameras, and high resolution 2K display. To sum up, here are some things I really enjoy about the S24 Ultra. 1. Its build quality. At this price, you don't compromise on the build of the phone. It is supposed to represent the best of what Samsung has to offer for a 2024 slim phone. And first impressions matter. Hence the very well built phone. Next, battery life. This phone is built to last a whole entire day of use, and it's meant for those who are able to drain out phones in like minutes time. Legend has it that they are called power users. Third, the S Pen. Some may not use it, but I find it very fun and useful, especially now when my S24 Ultra acts as my workhorse, and it will, since it will get support all the way up to 2031. it will be my editing tool for better or worse. Now, my only gripe with it is the size and heft. I could have gone for the S24 base, but here's the thing. 我是冲着这支根笔来的。If only Samsung made a S24 S Pen with way less heft than they did with Note 10, and then add in a 2K screen, that would be cool. 三星的 Ultra 该给你的什么都给你，它有什么都给什么，完全不将就。Ultra 实至名归。And okay, that one person who's still watching, let me know if you are by commenting. I really appreciate it. You're ready for my review of my Galaxy ZFe? Sure. Okay, I got this. So I got this free with my S24 Ultra purchase and like 225 install credits to buy 2 cases and 1 more ZFe for my father. Yeah, I have like maybe exceeded the amount by $30, but at least I got my father something. Okay, so upon opening up the case, it will instantly pair with the phone without fail. And that once on the touchpad to play pause music, press and hold either way to switch noise cancelling on or off. And if you choose to want to hear people's rubbish and switch off noise cancelling, the microphone will kind of activate and amplify the audio. Listening experience is awesome on these two. One issue that I have with them, the ZFe does not wireless charge. So remember I said I really like the ZFe, and the only issue I have is the lack of wireless charging. Well, it turns out the only issue I have with it is like the biggest issue I have with it, because right now I'm charging it, and the thing is, it doesn't have the case itself. The earpieces are actually quite long lasting, but the case itself, they just run out of power like there's no tomorrow. So now I'm charging it with a power bank that supports wireless charging, which it could do if it had wireless charging in the first place, and that pretty much pisses me off. It's still a good earpiece, but if this is a Samsung earpiece and you're giving it for free with a flagship Samsung phone with reverse wireless charging, it's a little bit awkward to not have your phone charge the earpiece, right? And the thing is, if you forget to bring your cable, which I almost did, what are you gonna do? Especially when the battery is not as good as my old daily driver, the Redmi Buds 3 Pro. Oh, in this case, it's kind of cute. So the Redmi Buds 3 Pro has wireless charging while being cheaper. And the reason why I have replaced it with the ZFe is because of Samsung's ecosystem. It's far more easier to link. I can just pick up my Note 9 on one USB 6 port or S21 and play music, and voila! Next, the silicone cases. They are silicone cases, yes, but the 2 smaller glass lenses containing 3x that lens and an laser autofocus module protrudes less, and hence they inset the moment the case is put on. Doing so will result in 3 lenses being flush. Now, on the S24 Ultras with the champagne gold camera decals, the light violet pops really well with the lens. On the white one, it looks classier when contrasted with the champagne gold camera decals. So which one would you prefer out of the 2? I can't choose actually. Let's talk about the case, shall we? The silicone finishing is also soft, with seams on it that are minimal to the point that they're not easily noticeable. However, like any other silicone case out there, it will look ugly with use. Mine is starting to wear out, as you can see from the white one. It is also easy to dirty out the white one, but from my experience, it wipes off simply. The backing is also made of recycled material, indicated by the great engraving on it. Film-wise, you wouldn't find any issues with it. After all, it's an official case from Samsung. Cutouts are precise, and buttons are very clicky. And ejecting the S Pen is a piece of cake. Okay, finally, we're at the end of the video. If you're still here, Thank you so much. For every video, I try to include in my 2 cents, and if you have the S23 Ultra, I don't think there's a reason for you to upgrade. But if you're like me, coming from the S21, which is literally dying and falling apart, it's a upgrade well worth it. Yeah, I may still be using the best of the best today, but when a new one comes out next year, the temptations to upgrade will be there. But think of it logically. Samsung gave the S24 series 7 years of updates because they know it is plenty capable of it. There are virtually no reasons for me to upgrade because it will still be working fine. Like, yeah. Question is, why do I need such an expensive phone? Because I really want it to last, and I want to use its full value. Phones like this are not meant to be upgraded every single year. They are built to last. They are supposed to look like an actual upgrade compared to models years back, like say the S20 Ultra. And I hope my S24 Ultra will live up to my expectations. Okay, thanks for watching. You better rest well. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. You guys really got to rest well. It's been a tough week for you all, is it? Yeah. Again, thank you so much for watching it.